Hi, I am Barbra Dillon, Editor-in-Chief of Fanbase Press. In light of the 2023 Writers Guild of America and SAG-AFTRA strikes, we here at Fanbase Press not only want to show our solidarity with the striking workers, but we also seek to help educate and inform our community members about why the strikes are happening, their potential impact, and how you can get involved. With me today is Lisa Klink, who began her writing career in the world of Star Trek, writing for Deep Space Nine and Voyager before coming back to Earth for shows like Martial Law and Missing. In addition to her TV work, Lisa has scripted a theme park attraction, graphic novels, short stories, and novels. She is also a 5-time champion on Jeopardy! Lisa, thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Now, we are in a very unique place and time, given that a temporary agreement has been reached by the Writers Guild of America and the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers. So for those out there who may be following along, but asking themselves some questions, what is a temporary agreement?
Well, they're calling it a tentative agreement. And essentially, it means that the Writers Guild and the AMPTP have, in theory, agreed on terms, and they are going to present those terms to the Writers Guild Board of Directors and then to the Writers Guild members in general to vote on. And so until that's actually voted on and approved, it's still just tentative.
And do you know, have you been, I would imagine you've been through this process before with previous strikes. Do you know what that voting process looks like?
Well, first, our board of directors needs to vote on it and give it approval, and then it will go out to the the membership of the Writers Guild to vote on. Just like we had to vote on an authorization to go on a strike in the first place, we also need to vote on an authorization to stop it.
Absolutely. That makes complete sense. Now, while this does apply for the Writers Guild of America, there is still an ongoing SAG-AFTRA strike as well. How do you feel like the tentative agreement affects or does not affect solidarity with the union members in SAG-AFTRA?
Well, their solidarity has been very strong between our unions. I mean, SAG was out on the picket lines with us well before they went on strike. And I'm assuming and hoping that the writers will be out on the picket lines with them for as long as is necessary. I think it's going to be good for the Screen Actors Guild if the Writers Guild has a deal, especially if it's a good deal, which I'm, fingers crossed, hoping it is, that they will be able to use some of the same agreements that we came to, especially about stuff like AI and about residual payments and residual transparency from the streaming services. And so if we have good terms with those subjects, hopefully they will too.
Absolutely. In a way, there's hope that this is building the framework for those same things within the SAG-AFTRA contract.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And Lisa, for you, what was your experience on the picket lines these past few months, and how do you feel that it helped in garnering this tentative agreement?
My personal experience was very good. As a writer working at home by myself, it's easy to feel kind of isolated from other writers. And so being able to go out, and hang out with other writers all day, even if it was walking around in circles in the heat, it was weirdly social, for writers who don't usually get together with other writers. We really got to talk about, the projects that we worked on and the experiences that we were having. And like I said, it was very positive. I picketed at several different places. We had several special pickets, like we had 2 Star Trek pickets at the Paramount gates, which were fantastic. I got to meet people, see people that I hadn't seen in 20 years. And I got to meet some of the people on the current series, Discovery and Lower Decks and all that. And we also had a women in genre picket on 2 occasions. And that also allowed me to meet some other women in the fantasy and sci-fi genres whose work I really liked, but I'd never met in person. So personally, it was really positive. And I think it was also very positive for the negotiations because it was really a show of solidarity. And so I think that really strengthened our negotiating committee's position to be able to say to the AMPTP, these writers are willing to stick it out. We are united on this, and there are not fractures within the guild, and we are willing to be out here on the lines as long as it takes.
Absolutely, especially over this past weekend, seeing that amount of solidarity at all of the different locations was truly inspiring.
Yes, it really was.
Absolutely. And last question for you, Lisa. In looking at the path that lies ahead, do you feel like this solidarity, this show and demonstration of your power as a collective union, um, has changed or has impacted what you see for the industry as a whole, or do you see any change further going to happen in the industry because of it?
That's a tough call because the industry has changed so much since the advent of streaming, in particular, that they have much shorter seasons and much smaller writing staffs, and that has made a huge difference for TV writers. And I know that one of the things that we're looking for in this agreement is a minimum size of writing staff for a show. So with any luck, it will actually improve, opportunities for TV writers a little bit. Um, and again, if we do get good transparency from the streaming services, then it should also improve the residual situation. But unfortunately, I don't think it's ever going to go back to the way it was when shows had, 22 or, even 26 episodes a season, and you really just needed to get one job to carry you through the whole year. Now if you're talking about shows that have, 8 or 10 episodes, you have to get several jobs every year just to make a living. So unfortunately, I don't see that changing anytime soon.
Absolutely, and very valid points. Hopefully, this is merely a starting point for future negotiations, and that things will continue to get better, so that everyone in the union, both within the WGA and SAG-AFTRA, can have a living wage, can enjoy the work that they're doing fully, and not worry about making ends meet.
Well, that's why residuals are so important, is that they carry you through the periods of unemployment that every single writer and actor has. And so that's why I think negotiating for good residuals is especially important.
Absolutely. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for clarifying and giving some information to our viewers so that they can better understand the situation. And we certainly hope that this tentative agreement does go through for the benefit of everyone.
Yes, thank you very much. And if anybody wants more information, go directly to the source. Go to WGA.org and SAG.org, because they will have the most accurate information.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Lisa. And thank you again for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.